Well, this is a turn up for the books. We've got Shenmue news. Actual, legitimate Shenmue news. We're getting an enhanced edition of Shenmue 3 coming out to modern consoles. And I did not see this coming. It's pretty exciting for some reasons that we will get into. But it's good to see this game continuing. I mean, we had the Kickstarter. Shenmue 3 turned out all right. You know, there was some disappointments there with it, obviously, mainly in the narrative. I'm just going to say it right out the bat. I feel cheated out of not getting to the stage in the story that we thought we were going to. Because at the end of Shenmue 2, right, he came upon this cave, and all of a sudden, these magical aspects to the story seemed like they were going to begin, right? So we had this pretty sort of realistic game world and sort of grounded sort of, physics and narrative developments. It was all pretty realistic. And at the end of Shenmue 2, there was magic in a cave. And we thought, oh my God, what is going to happen here? Is he going to learn the fireball? Is there going to be other crazy stuff happening? So we were on a cliffhanger at the end of Shenmue 2. And Shenmue 3 does not resolve that cliffhanger. Instead, it took us, veered off into this other part of the story that built towards the same climactic moment that was at the end of Shenmue 2. So narratively, Shenmue 3 for me was a real kick in the teeth, to be honest. Back to the exact same point where we thought, oh, the next bit's going to be magical and fantastical and just be absolutely unpredictable and weird and crazy. We didn't get that. I enjoyed Shenmue 3 for what it was. Like, I thought it looked great, the graphics were good, the world was full enough and all the rest of it. It pretty much felt like a Shenmue game. It wasn't as good as the first two. Let's get that clear out of the gate. I mean, it looked beautiful, but there was just something about the way it felt to play it that didn't feel quite as satisfying as Shenmue 1 and 2, I have to say that. I mean, I backed that Kickstarter hugely. I'm actually in Shenmue 3 as a Chibi U capsule toy. I can't remember how much that Kickstarter tier cost. It was quite a lot. But I was flush at the time and I was feeling quite excited and all hyped up, of course. And so I'm actually in Shenmue 3 as Shenmuzo. I know I've recently slightly changed the name of this channel to Shenmiaozo to sort of be cat affiliated. But yeah, Shenmuzo is a character and it's got my bald head and beard in there, and you can pretty much tell it's me, this little Chibi U toy. And of course, it's got the old Shenmue 3 Collector's Edition here, which was a lovely addition there. So yeah, it was nice to have that. You got in it various things. I'll try and hold it up close so you can see. We had this sort of light box, and we had the the dragon mirror and such bits and pieces. But yeah, massive Shenmue fan, as you can tell. But Shenmue 3 Enhanced Edition is exciting, not only for just continuing to get that game to as many people as possible and hopefully sell the entire series, because I think the old Shenmue games still hold up as a gaming experience today. I mean, this is over 20 years old now. 25 years old now, Shenmue 1. 1999 it came out, I believe. But it did things then that modern games still don't do to that degree. And I'm talking mainly about things like a fully realized day-night cycle where the NPCs all have their own sort of life and patterns that they go through. And you have to sort of play this game in 4 dimensions. So when you do something or meet somebody or get to the next narrative point, you not only have to be somewhere, you have to be at the right time as well. So you've got to think about time as a part of the sort of game world that you navigate. So yeah, it's not only just finding the right place, you got to get there at the right time as well. And those kind of things made Shenmue just feel really sort of tangible and sort of immersive. So it's brilliant. But I've got my glasses here. I'm going to go through some of the enhancements that we're getting in Shenmue 3 Enhanced Edition. So it says enhanced graphics and performance, sharper textures, richer detail, faster loading times and smoother gameplay. That's good. I didn't think there was any issue with Shenmue 3's graphics. I thought it already looked gorgeous. I don't remember being annoyed by loading times, but obviously it's good to have them faster. Anything that just streamlines the gameplay experience and makes it look better. Of course, you can't shake a stick at that. I'm not going to complain about them making it look better. I thought it already looked good, but they're going to work on the graphics. 4K texture uplift, refined and more detailed environments and characters. So yeah, that's good. I mean, Shenmue 1 and 2 was ahead of its time graphically as well compared to most of its sort of competitors. It felt significantly sort of more tangible, these worlds, and it had this sort of uncanny valley feel to it, where the NPCs had these sort of detailed and expressive faces for the time, and so that added to that sort of immersion of really feeling like you were there in this place. But yeah, they're going to make the characters and environments look better with better textures. We've got support for DLSS, FSR, so that's like upscaling, high quality upscaling without sacrificing performance. So great, I guess, again, yep. Increased NPC density. It says the city village, Niawu, feels more alive with characters populating the streets. So yeah, more NPCs is always good. One of the great things about Shenmue was that the interactivity of the NPCs, so you could speak to all of them, and they all had something to say, and sometimes they kind of branch in conversational paths, and sometimes it was significant to have conversations. Hopefully, those you can populate streets and environments with more NPCs. If you can't speak to them, if you can't have those interactions, it's it's negligible what kind of difference that'll make. But it's again, can't shake a stick. It can't really complain about that. Classic camera mode, optional camera perspective inspired by Shenmue 1 and 2. This is a good one. I'm surprised they didn't have this in Shenmue 3 already, where you could just play it and have it feel as close as possible to the experience of playing the old ones, even though, in terms of control, that might feel dated. I think to a Shenmue fan, that's a nostalgia hit to have that sort of same over-the-shoulder tank-like feel to the movement and camera. I just think it'll feel nice to play like that. I'm actually happy about that, even though to some people's, to new players' eyes, that might feel regressive. To Shenmue fans, that might be pretty cool. Gameplay tweaks, optional stamina system adjustments, health restoration before fights, and reduce money barriers. So again, just making the gameplay tighter. Improved interactions, cutscenes, and conversation skip options. Yep, cool. Expanded QTE timing window for more accessible gameplay. So the QTEs are going to be a bit more forgiving, which is good because, if you're playing it for the story, you don't necessarily care about being super accurate on the QTEs and doing them over and over again to try and get through them. Also, we've got conversation here. Menu and user experience enhancements, streamlined navigation, and helpful purchasing alerts. So again, just stuff to make the overall gameplay experience smoother, and so they're going to make it look good and feel better to play and all that. I'm just surprised they're doing it. It's really good to see because it really kind of felt like after Shenmue 3, that was it. That's all we're getting. Again, left on this story cliffhanger, agonizingly, before we got to the real juicy bit of the story that we thought we was going to get after the end of Shenmue 2. But that's actually the one thing that has got me really excited about this announcement, is that does this mean that they still intend to try and make Shenmue 4? Are they trying to maintain or grow support and love for this franchise and generate funds and an economic proposition to investors that it'll be worth making Shenmue 4? Oh, that'll be the best thing to come out of this. Like, all the enhancements aside, if this makes it more possible that we get Shenmue 4, come on. Because I don't think they'll be able to go through Kickstarter again. I just don't think they'll be able to generate the same level of hype that the Shenmue 3 Kickstarter did. I mean, that was obviously on the back of, at that time, at least 15 years, was it? About 15 years of hype and anticipation of the fan community, and those games growing and have this cult status. and it all exploded onto that Kickstarter, and it obviously did really well. I don't think you're going to get that same enthusiasm and energy again through Kickstarter. I think if Shenmue 4 happens, it's got to be through sort of traditional means of investors and a development company affording to do it and having the economic proposition to make it a viable prospect. And this is the thing that could potentially make that happen. Um, it's a big, big if, of course. Yeah, because to do that, you really have to sort of entice in new players as well. You can't just rely on the existing fan base that's still there. The percentage of that fan base that still exists, obviously a large percentage would have drifted away, gone up to other things, aren't as passionate about it anymore, don't even play games anymore, whatever the reason. It's a fraction of that original fan base that was still interested for Shenmue 3. People have discovered this series since they came out, of course. There are new players that have discovered it. But we'll see. We'll see if this can garner enough support for that. Yeah, it's pretty exciting though. It's pretty cool to see Shenmue 3 coming out again. So even though I backed the Kickstarter of Shenmue 3 massively, I've already played through and finished it, and I've already got the collector's edition. I will support this. I definitely will support it and buy it. If you have a copy of Shenmue 3 on PS4 or the previous releases, there's going to be an upgrade path. So if you want to support Shenmue 3 Enhanced Edition, you don't have to buy it all from scratch. You don't have to pay full price for it. There'll be an upgrade path so that you can just upgrade to the new version, and that's really good. But I'll tell you what, if they do a physical version, I will buy the physical version complete, and so just buy it all over again. And I think there's definitely going to be a good percentage of the Shenmue community that will be willing to do that and show support all over again to try and keep this franchise alive, because it just occupies, there's a reason it still occupies such a special place in a lot of people's hearts, is that impact that it made back in the day, being so ahead of its time, but also just stuff that still works with those games, stuff that is still impactful, like just the atmosphere, just the general atmosphere that it creates, and the way that it's so unique in the gameplay experience. Again, especially those first two. Shenmue 3 is okay, it tried, but we're really talking about the first two in terms of the elite sort of experience in this series. And that is that it really distinguished itself from most other games, where it had this very slow sort of pace to it, very meditative. And of course it is very philosophical. Philosophical. So it also had these philosophical narratives weaved through it, but the gameplay experience itself felt very sort of zen and very measured, and slowed it all down, and that helped again with this sense of presence. And it's probably the most immersed I've ever felt in a game outside of VR, for the way that it was structured and the way that it pulled you in, all that stuff. And yeah, so obviously very special game, and just happy to see this announcement, and hope beyond all hope that this means Shenmue 4 might still be on the cards. But that is probably going to rely on this re-release, this enhanced edition, doing really well. So spread the word, support it if you can, if you want to, and let's see where we go from here. All right, guys, in a bit. Bye bye.